Hi there. So we continue to explore perplexity, and if you are coming here for the first time, we're trying to understand and figure out on how to use perplexity to trade and invest in the markets. And this channel is not just about stock market; it is going to cover overall how to use AI in daily life. But primarily, we are focused on stock market at this point in time. So this one is more about trying to understand on how to leverage perplexity to understand the stocks which are in momentum. Now, this is not the first one in the series we have done earlier also, but this one is more focused around on how to identify it for our upcoming week. Now, we started with a very simple prompt in a query that give me the stocks which had a golden crossover in the past week with good volumes, put a table with PEG ratio and industry to which it belongs. So now it's very critical for you to identify stocks which are not just in momentum, but they are also fundamentally strong. So that's why what we've done over here is we've tried figuring out which stocks are showing golden crossover. So golden crossover in very simple terms is when the 50-day simple moving average is crossing over the 200-day simple moving average, and the stock is typically in an uptrend. And the PEG ratio kind of tells you whether what's the valuation in context of the growth that the stock is depicting. And typically a PEG of less than one is awesome, but somewhere in between one and two also you can take a bet. And what we realized when it brought in all of these stocks which have gotten a golden crossover with good volumes, that most of these stocks from a valuation perspective are looking very expensive. So if you really look at it in the table that is over here, we realize that most of the stocks are above 2 for that matter, not even in the range of 1 to 2, other than couple of them which are not so well-known companies. So we kind of tried changing the approach, and after having tried getting an understanding if there is something which is looking attractive, which is already depicted a crossover of 50-day SMA to 200-day SMA. We tried changing the approach, and what I tried querying further when I couldn't find something which was of conviction for me, both from fundamental perspective as well as momentum perspective. I asked it that let's not try to look for stocks which have already gotten the golden crossover. Just look at the stocks which are very close to it, and also give the industry and give the PEG ratio for the one. So these are not the stocks which have shown a golden crossover, but these are stocks which are in that category, which are coming close to it. So now what it brought in is a good set of stocks like Life Insurance Corporation that's trading at 872 with a PE of around 11.3, which is from a valuation perspective. You look at 0.6, it's showing a reasonable valuation, I would say. And when we say reasonable valuation, it's a very crude way of trying to find out the valuation and if the cost is justified, but at least it gives you a sense of that. And it brought in fairly well established companies, because if you look at these companies and if you've been trading in the market, these are all companies with a reasonable presence and a reasonably good market cap, other than Indigene, which at least I don't know much about. But it brought in these which are close to golden crossover, and if the momentum continues, it also tried predicting that if it continues in the same momentum as it has shown in the past week, then it'll cross in next so many days. Now, so what I did was I further tried querying it, and I said that okay, this is all good, that the top five also it has given that it's saying that Coal India is one of the good ones with a ROCE of 48.04. Now that's a excellent ROCE. I don't know if it is perfect, but it's always good to check it once. But definitely Coal India is one of the good ones, because with a dividend yield of 6.81, it is very justified. The last two quarters haven't been that awesome, but at least they are moving in the right direction. Why it has not been awesome is because if you compare June of previous year and June of this year, there is a slight dip in the revenue, but the operating profit margins have improved. So Nalco is another one which is out there with the ROCE of 43.96. And generally, energy and metals, given that the inflation is expected to go up, makes sense. You can always invest that. So Life Insurance Corporation, especially with the GST thing coming in play, NMDC and Hindustan Zinc. So now most of them are, fairly looking very attractive. It has also tried giving the reasons why it is listing them down, and it has given the other ones which are there as candidates. But then what I wanted to figure out was, okay, this is all awesome and good. Can you give me stocks which are in an uptrend and have built support at higher levels with good volumes? So then it again brought me this list only, that yes, Hindustan Zinc is there. What it means is that it's not just that the stocks which are in golden crossover, when you look at the trend lines, ideally when the trends are going up and you're finding that the stocks are finding support at higher levels, then they are good, because what it means is that there is a lot of momentum in terms of anytime the stock starts dipping, it takes an uptrend at a higher level. So if a stock is going up from 90 to 100 and 100 to 102, then once it took a uptick from 100, when it was at 102, it went down to 100. Now let's say it goes up till 104. Now next time it takes support at 101 or 102, it doesn't break its previous support. So that is what it means, and it tried bringing in these stocks, which is slightly different, but it still had the same set that it was working with: Hindustan Zinc, Hero Motocorp, Banco Product, Coal India, and GE Vernova. Now, at least I don't know much about Banco products and Coal India, but it gave a fairly detailed analysis of why it is recommending each one of them. So it is saying Hindustan Zinc with the ROC of 60.7% with dividend yield of 6.46 can get as good as you can think of, and it is trading at 82% of 52-week high, with which is fairly good, I would say, because it's not at its peak, and it is in an uptrend, and it is taking support at higher levels. So it's a good possible opportunity. Then Hero MotoCorp, because of the GST changes, definitely one of the sectors that is expected to benefit most is economy vehicles, and it falls in that category. One of the main reasons that government has come up with this kind of a cut in the GST is to help the private consumption improve, and Hero MotoCorp is expected to really benefit from this. And with the ROC of 30.3 and good dividend yields, this stock is having good. And then Coal India, for that matter, it has brought in. And the good part about doing research with Perplexity is that it has got access to both fundamental data as well as the technical data, and you can question it consistently. Whereas if you go to Screener and other things, you have to always keep, making the queries and then trying to identify numbers. Look at how perfectly it has brought in why it is recommending Coal India. Now, that's a individual's choice whether you go ahead with it or not. But the key point is that it is giving you a very strong set of data, which is not just dependent on the fundamentals or technicals, but it is a blend of two depending upon how you have crafted your query. So that's what it is indicating now. Based on this, you can take your own call. But if you look at, this is a great way to research stocks. We have earlier also covered these kind of stocks. And finally, it gave me a table which is like this, which I talked about, that yeah, Hindustan Zinc is there. Then what is the peg? Is it less than one? It is looking less than one. Then I also tried finding out, which I think is there, is that okay, what's the median P? So now Hindustan Zinc is trading above its median P because the whole market is little bit boomed up at this point in time. But the most attractive looks is Hero MotoCorp for me, because it's just above its median P, and the GST news is in its favor. And if I look at the current P, it's just about 21.2. And if I compare the two-wheeler market, Hero MotoCorp will not be the most expensive one. Now, Banco Products is already zoomed up, but yes, if you want to explore it as an opportunity, then yes. Coal India is also trading in the range of its median pay, because anything between 15 to 20% 20% above its median P is a fairly good, okay thing, because then the downside is covered. So for me, the bets would be based upon this table, and this is purely based on the numbers. It's not a recommendation. Is Hindustan Zinc, Hero MotoCorp, and Coal India, which uh, I would think are conservative bets, but then your downside risk is limited. Anytime you trade, the most important thing is can you manage the fall? And in this case, at least I feel that the downside risk is very limited. So these are the ones that I would pick, and there are good reasons that why I'm picking up based upon the data that it has come. And Perplexity is a great way to explore things. So you can try it out. And the best part is that you can also convert these into tasks. So if I really want to write a prompt and convert this into a task that give it to me on a daily basis or give it to me weekly, I can convert it into a weekly task. The prompt will run on its own. You'll send it to my email, and you can just evaluate it and then further query on top of it. So you can create that. So that's a great way to try out things, and you can also pick up the model options, whether you want to take it as a research or as a project or as search. But in this case, it's best to take it as a research. So that's very quickly on how you can use Perplexity for identifying momentum trades and convert it into a kind of a task. I'll see you in the next one, in which we will again pick up one aspect of stock market and how to use AI for that. And we do cover a lot of these concepts in a structured course on Udemy. So if you want to check it out, the link would be there in the comment section. Do check it out, and if you like it, enroll for it. Bye for now. I'll see you in the next one.